Next at 7, another change in the vote-by-mail process ahead of the 2024 election. What voters need to know if they want to receive their mail-in ballot. Plus, Orlando Magic legend Penny Hardaway joins us to talk about how deep this Magic team can make a run in the playoffs. Coming up.
Tonight's primetime lineup on WESH 2 is sponsored by Orlando Health Heart and Vascular Institute, ranked best in Central Florida for heart care by U.S. News and World Report.
WESH 2 News starts now with breaking news.
That breaking news: an Orange County deputy accused of interfering in a deadly carjacking investigation could be bonding out soon.
WESH 2's Gail Pascal Brown outside the Seminole County Jail, where he is still being held at this moment. Gail.
Yes, Stuart, according to jail records, Orange County Deputy Francisco Estrella has posted bond at this time. Of course, a GPS system still has to be outfitted for him. I did speak with his attorney, Corey Cohen, earlier this afternoon, and he said that his wife should be coming here basically to pick him up sometime tonight. Now, Seminole County Judge Melanie Chase did sign an order at 2:45 this afternoon for bond. It's a $15,000 bond with GPS monitoring. The bond was set at $3,000 for each of the 5 counts. The Orange County deputy is charged with using David, that is the driver and vehicle information database, to get information about the case. He is also accused of contacting the lead investigator in the Catherine Aquavivas case in Seminole County. Now, pretending, I'm told, to be a cousin of the victim to gather more information. Now, the attorney for the deputy, as we're still waiting and keeping our eye on the jail, basically hopes that the charges will be dropped or either lesser charges filed, because he says that investigators understand now that he was only trying to help a family friend and was not involved at all with the murder or the carjacking. We'll keep you posted when he does bond out of jail. I'm Gail Pascal Brown reporting live now in Seminole County for WESH 2 News.
All right, Gail, thank you. The Seminole County Sheriff's Office has released the incident report on last week's deadly carjacking investigation. It has multiple witnesses giving their accounts of what happened, and most explained how they initially thought it was some type of road rage incident. This was April 11th when a green Acura pulled up behind 31-year-old Catherine Aguas Vivas. A man got out armed with a gun and got inside her car, and they drove off. A couple of hours later, that car was found in Osceola County on fire with a body inside believed to be Aguas Vivas. The suspects in that case have still not been found and may be connected with a deadly shooting that happened just the day prior. We are still going through the report. We'll bring you any update that we get and any new information on air and online at WESH.com.
Breaking news out of Washington, D.C. A plane bound for Orlando from Washington's National Airport was involved in a near collision. The Federal Aviation Administration says the 2 planes were on an apparent collision course after being cleared on the same runway. Audio recordings detail controllers shouting for a JetBlue flight to stop its takeoff as a Southwest flight started taxiing across the runway in front of it. We're told the 2 planes stopped about 400 feet apart. Both planes eventually took off for their respective destination. An investigation is now ongoing. A Flagler County man was arrested after allegedly taking off in his truck with a camper trailer attached to it with kids inside.
WESH 2's Pamela Combs spoke with a sheriff who shared that the man was driving recklessly while his 2 kids were in the RV. Gambino is facing 2 child abuse charges and a domestic battery charge. He posted the $6,000 bond and was released from jail on Wednesday.
Melbourne police are looking for new information as detectives look into a shooting that began as a home burglary. Overnight, the victim and 2 others left that home on Coventry Road briefly. When they came back, there were 2 people inside the house. The intruders allegedly shot the victim multiple times and then took off. Investigators say that this did not appear to be random and that the house was likely targeted. One neighbor described what happened.
About 12:30, we heard 4 gunshots about 10 feet from our bedroom window. And then we got up, came out, looked through the front window, and then saw an image running down the street, and then we heard 4 more shots.
That victim is expected to recover. Melbourne police are urging anyone with information to give them a call. An Orange County woman is accused of leaving her 3 children, small children, alone at a hotel for hours. Staff at the Quality Inn on Lee Road found a 2-year-old boy alone on the 5th floor. A short time later, they found a crying 3-year-old in a hallway on the 2nd floor. Deputies responded, and while there, they say that Rashay Brandon and her boyfriend casually returned to that hotel. According to the report, that's when she mentioned a 3rd child. Deputies went to her room and found a crying 1-year-old also alone. Brandon is now charged with child neglect. Her kids are now with other family members.
The fireworks company at the center of a deadly warehouse explosion in 2022 wants to delay the civil cases it's facing because of possible criminal charges. Attorneys for Magic in the Sky want those cases suspended for a year or until all pending criminal investigations have been resolved. The company is facing several lawsuits right now from families of the victims who are claiming negligence. No criminal charges have been announced against the owners, but the investigations are ongoing. The company was fined nearly $110,000 last year when that fire killed 4 people and left a 5th person badly injured. An OSHA inspection found the fire may have been sparked by static electricity, and they found 12 serious violations ranging from violating explosives to hazard communication standards. The company is contesting those violations.
Religious leaders will now be allowed to interact with students in Florida schools. The governor signed the bill this morning to allow school districts to bring in chaplains. Districts can decide what they want to do with those chaplains. So the governor says it could look different depending on where you live. Schools will have to list their volunteer chaplains and their religious affiliations, and parents will have to consent to having their child take part in whatever service or program that chaplain provides. The governor says he's expecting a legal challenge, but feels like the law would win in court.
You're basically saying that God has no place. That's wrong. That's not what our founding fathers intended. Some have said that if you do a school chaplain program, that somehow you're going to have Satanists running around in all our schools. Just understand, we're not playing those games in Florida. That is not a religion. That is not qualifying to be able to participate.
The law goes into effect July 1st.
Voters are seeing a change when it comes to requesting votes by mail ballots. All of the request forms are now the same, no matter where you live. And as WESH News political reporter Greg Fox explains, it's a good reminder to request your ballot for this year's election now.
Vote by mail is surging in popularity in Florida, with more than 1/3 of ballots cast in the 2022 general election being sent by way of the Postal Service. But lawmakers and some voters didn't like the idea that election supervisors, major political parties, and some voting advocacy groups printed their own mail ballot request forms. So, as of this week, all counties and the state portal have just one request form, so voters know it's from the Division of Elections.
The state's intention was just to create this uniformity approach, but make sure to cut down on confusion, allow voters to know that when they get this one standard form, they fill it out, they'll be able to request their vote by mail ballot.
Supervisor Gilzine and other election supervisors around the state say that the addition of this new mail ballot request form should also alert voters to other changes when it comes to vote by mail since the 22 elections. The most important change for you to keep in mind is that your previous requests for mail ballots have expired. Under state law, you have to make the request every year. That means people expecting their ballot to arrive as usual for the August and November elections will have to make a new request online, by phone, or by printing and mailing the new form.
If you don't fill out this form or go through one of the 3 steps 12 days prior to an election, you cannot get the vote by mail. So it's super critical. So
critical, says the supervisor, that you don't wait to request that ballot. In Orange County, Greg Fox, WESH 2 News.
For voters in Orlando City Council District 5, vote-by-mail ballots begin going out tomorrow, and you still have a couple more weeks to phone or go online and request a mail ballot before the May 21st special election.
President Biden will be in Florida next week. He is set to travel to Tampa on Tuesday. No details about his visit have been released. We'll, of course, keep you updated as we learn more information. Seminole County is honoring veterans at its annual luncheon.
All the branches were represented at the PACT event in Sanford.
I get to see some people that I haven't seen in years. I meet up with them.
The special service celebrating those who served and remembering those lost.
And Magic legend Penny Hardaway joining us with his perspective on the Magic's upcoming playoff run. Cam.
We'll be nearing record high temperatures tomorrow and through the weekend. A high of 91 tomorrow afternoon, 93 the high on Saturday, and 92 the high on Sunday. I'll show you when our next cold front will be arriving in Central Florida, bringing those temperatures back down to more spring-like coming up.
This is Kellyanne. She's your morning meteorologist and Central Florida's certified most accurate.
No matter the forecast, I've got your day covered.
Start your day with meteorologist Kellyanne Class and WESH 2 First Warning Weather.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
We don't get much better than this. It has been beautiful outside for a while now, and it's going to continue through the weekend.
And it's been dry. I mean, It's been very comfortable out, even though the temperatures did climb into the upper 80s today. Live look outside right now. Here is a look at Tavares over Lake Dora. It is calm. It is clear, but look at this. Still very warm. We're currently at 84 in Leesburg. A good afternoon, actually evening now, 87 in Ocala, 82 in DeLand, and we are in the low 80s in Orlando. Take a look at our satellite and radar. Just a few clouds above and otherwise a dry evening in store. So if you've got dinner plans out tonight, you'll be in great shape. You'll be comfortable out. We'll see a few high-level clouds streaming ahead, but overall a very pleasant night ahead. 66 tomorrow morning as you wake up and head out the door. 64 in the Villages. It'll be 62 at Ocala for your TGIF morning. And then, boy, the heat will be on. High temperatures tomorrow afternoon will climb into the low 90s. We'll top out around 91 in Orlando tomorrow, 91 in the Villages, and a high of 91 in Ocala. Even our coastal spots getting quite toasty. Will climb into the upper 80s, 87 in Titusville, 87 as well in New Smyrna Beach tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow will be a great day to head out to our local beaches. Just keep in mind that rip current risk is on the moderate side, and maybe even head out to our local water parks if the beach is not your thing. We will see lots of sunshine tomorrow and staying dry. That will be the case into the upcoming weekend. That is why we have those green check marks on both weekend days, but we'll be nearing the record on Saturday. 93 the high in Orlando. A record high is 96 Sunday. Getting close, but not nearly as close as Saturday with a high of 92. We've been seeing a dry stretch of weather over Central Florida, but that is going to end with our next cold front moving through. It's a weak one, so I'll call it a cool front more than anything. This will bring some increasing clouds, a few rain showers, and especially by Monday morning to the north, and then heading into Orlando by about Monday afternoon. Front will clear us by Tuesday, and behind that, only a slight cool down, and we're drying on out. So what do I mean by slight? We're not talking about any dramatic drop off in temperatures behind that front. You can see in our 7-day forecast, highs in the low 90s, feeling like summer. And then look at that, on Monday, a few showers. And then behind that front, we're only going to see highs in the mid to upper 80s. So we start to see those temperatures climb again by late week and continuing another dry stretch towards Tuesday to the latter half of the week as well. So enjoy this beautiful stretch of weather. We're going to expect some showers in our area by Monday. We'll have more news for you coming up on the other side of the break.
This First Morning Weather Update is sponsored by attorney Dan Newlin.
The Magic are back in the playoffs for the first time since the bubble, and this team is completely revamped and full of energy. 1996 Olympic gold medalist, Orlando Magic legend, Minnie Penny's older brother, and now current Memphis Tigers head basketball coach Anthony Hardaway joins us to talk about this team. Coach Hardaway, again, thank you for joining us. What do you think of this Magic team and their potential to make a run in the playoffs? Anthony Hardaway, current Memphis Tigers head coach, thank you so much for joining us, and we appreciate your time tonight.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Seminole County has established a tradition of honoring veterans at a special luncheon once a year, celebrating all branches of their service and sacrifice.
WESH 2's Dave McDaniel has emceed that event for several years now and looks at a very special gathering. As the county was celebrating Sanford's history as a naval air station from days gone by, the Blue Angels could be heard arriving for this weekend's air show at the airport where the Navy base once stood.
All right, Florida residents can score a deal on Universal tickets right now. The theme park has a buy 2 days, get 2 days free deal. It's good for both Universal Studios Florida and Universal Islands of Adventure. Tickets can be purchased online.
Starting this Sunday, there's a new Lynx bus route connecting the Orlando International Airport to the tourist district. Link 311 will offer service 7 days a week, including holidays, making stops at OIA, the Sand Lake Road Sunrail Station, the Florida Mall, Universal Boulevard, the Convention Center, and Disney Springs. Buses run every half hour from 5 a.m. until 11 p.m.
In honor of Earth Month, Walt Disney World took WESH 2 backstage to see how cast members are working to build a better environment. Disney installed this glass pulverizer in 2022 at the Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. It was part of a pilot program focused on turning empty glass bottles into sand and gravel.
the machine itself can pulverize about a ton an hour, and that's about, I'd say, close to 1,000 bottles an hour. And actually, that's what it's rated for. It's doing a little faster than that, but we can do easily 1,000 to 1,500 bottles an hour through this machine.
Coming up tomorrow on the WESH News at 4, Christina Watkins shows us how they use this program for animals at Fort Wilderness and other areas of the park looking for a sustainable future.
We have several stories we're following for you tonight.
Yeah, a man convicted in the shooting death of another man that he wasn't even targeting. The 62-year-old was on his way to church when he was hit. Just how long that gunman will be spending behind bars after a jury's quick deliberation.
Plus, we are staying on top of a developing story. A deputy accused of interfering in this high-profile deadly carjacking investigation could be on his way home tonight. We are outside the Seminole County Jail waiting for him to bond out. That's our report for tonight. You can always join us again at 10 o'clock over on the CW18 and, of course, right here for WESH 2 News at 11.
And, of course, the news is always online at WESH.com or by simply using our free WESH News mobile app. Have a good night.
Thank you for watching WESH 2 News. Get caught up on local news, originals, and more. Download the Very Local app and stream for free on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, iOS, and Android mobile devices.
We all call Central Florida our home.
That's why it's important to stay informed. We begin with breaking news this morning.
Because at WESH 2, you're at the center of breaking news.
And every morning, we work to keep you informed with all you need to know.
We're experts who know how to help you plan for what's ahead.
Giving you the first warning to Florida's changing weather.
And what roads you should or shouldn't be on.
Because breaking news can be a lot of things.
We always keep you at the center of it.
WESH 2 News Sunrise, starting at 4:30 a.m.